Hi everyone, having technical difficulties, so I'm having to switch media platforms. So I guess my iPad is not working how it should be. So just wanted to say hello, welcome. If you were listening previously, we just deleted that post, but we are live and direct. We will be introducing Sheila Harris, and we're going to be talking about hypnotherapy and how that can help you for the emotional and social side of your wellness. And hope you will be able to listen in. If you are listening in, please do comment, say hi, hello. If you have any questions, please just ask the question and we can answer your question online or wherever. And we have Sheila Harris on the line now, and we will be... Hi Sheila.
Hi, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I had technical difficulties with my iPad, so I had to change to my phone. So
No worries.
that's what we had, the technology.
Yeah, computers are really great as long as they're working.
Yes, exactly. So thank you, Sheila, for joining me this evening, and just gonna ask you a few questions about hypnotherapy, how it can help
Sure.
emotional and social wellness, because that's what we focus on, both of us. And so just give everyone just a little bit of information about you, who you are, and where you're from.
Okay. I am Sheila Harris, and I am from Central Georgia originally. I live in the Beaufort area, and my hypnotherapy practice is in Duluth at Duluth Multicare.
Awesome. And how long have you been in the hypnotherapy business, should I say?
Okay. I started actually in the hypnotherapy business at the end of last year.
Awesome.
Prior to that, I have been a pharmacist for, I don't know, 30 something years. I'm not going to say exactly how many because nobody wants to know what reunion I'm having this year. But at any rate, a long time I have been a registered pharmacist and really enjoy the medical side of hypnotherapy.
Great. So the fact that you made that transition from pharmaceutical to hypnotherapy, kind of, how did that come about?
Well, I really wanted to help people, but I wanted to do it in a way that maybe could be without drug intervention. Certainly pharmaceuticals are necessary in many cases, but in other cases, they may or not be very effective. And sometimes what I saw in my practice, perhaps I met someone that was trying to quit smoking, and they went through all the traditional pharmaceutical methods of wanting to do that, but it just did not seem to work for them. So with hypnotherapy, you actually get into the area of the brain where all your habits live, and you're able to change those habits.
Nice.
So that's kind of really what drove me there, was just looking for something that I could help people, but maybe would be a little less stress in my own life, and move into that profession. So that was why I chose hypnotherapy.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about what kind of symptoms or issues, I'll say symptoms and issues, that people typically have that they would come and see you with for hypnotherapy.
Okay. Well, let me first of all say that probably 80% of what all of us visit a doctor for,
Right.
it started from stress.
Right.
Stress really is the thing that is the tough thing for any of us to sometimes manage and get beyond. And it ends up showing itself in a number of different ways. And there are just so many, we all have stresses in life. Well, you can't really lead a stress-free life. It's really about how you manage that stress.
Right.
But some of the more common displays of maybe that stress or other issues that people come see me for is perhaps, as I think I mentioned about smoking, maybe they're a smoker and they're ready to quit. Maybe it's just pure out, they have anxiety and stress and want to be able to manage that better. A lot of times people have chronic pain that they need to be able to manage. Depression, irritable bowel syndrome, fertility. Actually, fertility is very interesting. So many times we probably all know people that tried and tried and tried and tried to have a baby and just couldn't get pregnant, tried everything, adopted a child, and of course 6 months later they're pregnant. So that just goes to show that so much of what blocks the ability to become pregnant in a couple is related to stress, because when that stress is removed and the pressure's off and all the grandparents aren't saying, when are you going to have a baby,
Right.
or the worries about all that, when that's gone, then truly your body just kind of lets go and you're able to conceive. Hypnotherapy is really good for dermatology issues. Skin is very emotional. And so and that's why when we're younger, a lot of times if we get nervous and upset about things, we have an acne outbreak. But with all kinds of dermatology issues, whether it's psoriasis or acne, hypnotherapy is really good for that. It helps us overall with our self-confidence, because so much of our self-confidence is tied to what we really in our heart believe about ourselves, or all those negative thoughts that all of us have in our head, being able to address that and correct those. It helps with different fears and phobias, and it's really good for performance as well. I know that you are very sports oriented.
Yes.
It certainly helps to improve sports performance, sales performance for people that are in sales jobs, and school performance as well with academic issues. So those are just some of the things that it's good for, but it's so many things that it's helpful for.
That's quite a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot.
That's not just one or two things. That's a whole variety of things. That's
It is.
So which one, I mean, I know you kind of mentioned quite a few of them, but which one out of the ones that you spoke about are the most popular? And I would assume it would be the smoking, and
sure.
Would that be the only one, or?
No, I would say that smoking is a very popular method of things, of what's treated with hypnotherapy. And part of that is simply because even though hypnotherapy hasn't been used a lot in this country for many things, it has been used quite often for people and got really good success becoming a non-smoker. So that's something that people hear more about probably and seek out a hypnotherapist to help them to become a non-smoker. Interestingly enough, whether you've been smoking 4 years or 40 years, the ability to leave that habit behind is the same, and it's very, very successful. The one thing I always ask my clients is, are you going to stop smoking because you really want to, or are you going to stop smoking because someone else in your life, you know that it's a burden for them? And the reason I ask that question is one simple thing. With smoking, it will never work for you if it's not that you want to quit. But if you want to quit, you can do it for someone else, and it worked with hypnotherapy. But if you want to quit, then there's no reason in the world that hypnotherapy cannot help you become a non-smoker basically immediately. It's 3 sessions, but you actually stop smoking at the first session, and the other 2 are just for reinforcement. So it's very effective for that. I also, I see quite a few patients that are interested in pain management to help them manage chronic pain. So that's a really good thing. It's very quickly effective for irritable bowel syndrome and stomach type related issues.
Wow.
It's really good for that. So I see a lot of patients for that. I've seen some patients that have different fears and phobias. Had a lady come in she had to go to Michigan for a trip, and she was really afraid to get on a plane. Okay. And so we worked with her, and we were working on some other things, but she said, I've got this trip. Can you help me? And I said, sure. And really, basically, she had no issues with her trip after just 1 session in that fear. And then I've worked with people as well, just for general anxiety and stress. A lot of people that realize that maybe some of the other things that they're seeking help for, the real root of the problem is stress. So we work on stress.
Gotcha. And so let's talk just a little bit about stress. So
sure,
give us an idea of not saying you want to hypnotize us right now, but
right,
but an idea of how you do help people with stress. What kind of maybe some of the activities that you may do with people? Because obviously, you talk about stress, and I talked about stress with the last person that I interviewed, and it was Heather Fritz, and she was in corporate and she was stressed, and then she had kidney stones, and then she had cancer, and it was just a whole bunch of stress.
Yes, absolutely. And stress really does cause so many medical conditions that we walk around with every day. But what I would say is that with stress, you know, you have a lot of physical symptoms. Stress can cause aches and pains.
Yeah.
Stress can cause you to have stomach problems.
That was,
Stress can cause you to drink too much or smoke too much, smoke at all, which is too much. But, you know, you have all those different things. But generally, in a session, and what I offer for people, because I figure relaxation never hurt anybody. So when I have a potential client come to my office that maybe has an issue they want to address, but they're just not certain, they don't know anything about hypnotherapy and, you know, how it's going to work, and
right.
they're a little apprehensive. We talk about, I share with them all the different kind of the reasons that hypnotherapy works when other things have failed. And then we talk about some of the misconceptions around hypnotherapy, because, you know, the movies have done nothing to really help people understand what clinical hypnosis is all about. And then as well, what I do is I do a relaxation session for them.
Nice.
And that really amounts to going through a series of steps that I use where the individual is seated quietly, just sitting with their eyes closed, relaxing. When they say to me, well, what do I have to do? And I'm like, you just relax. And that's not always so easy for us because we run so hard all day long.
Yeah.
But my clients simply just sit back and relax and take a little time for themselves and take a few deep breaths and just begin to physically relax their body. Nice. In the different areas of the body. And as they do that, it really enables them to relax their mind as well. And at that point, they kind of let the subconscious mind take the lead, where usually all day long our conscious mind is leading us. Okay. It lets the self-conscious take the lead, because all the things we want to change about ourselves, all the habits and the fears, right, and the beliefs we have about ourselves and the things that hold us back, they live in our subconscious. So you have to get into the subconscious to address them. The bridge for that is hypnosis. And then once you're actually in that state of very relaxed body and mind, then at that point, the subconscious mind is very accepting of positive suggestions. And that's really my role. The person makes all the changes. I have no magic wand. That thing has been broken for a long time. But what I'm able to do is just serve as a guide for that individual. And by them having a conversation and letting me know, well, these are the things I want to change, or this is what I'd like to address, then I'm able to provide positive suggestions when they're in that really relaxed state that enable them to make the changes they desire.
Nice. Sounds like I want to go and do something like that. That's awesome. And so, you know, what are kind of the transformations that you know, that you've seen from people that have come and seen you with regards to, you know, the stress or the smoking? I know you said that right, someone was able to give up smoking after one session. I mean, that's just awesome.
That's actually everyone that uses hypnotherapy for smoking. The first session is when you become a non-smoker. And really how that works, people's like, how can that be? Well, the way it is just simply a matter that you see yourself as a non-smoker, and how we believe about ourselves, you know, that's what we're going to become. There's a thing in our body called the fancy name for it is the reticular activation system. Oh. What it really means is the things we focus on, that is what we move toward. So with hypnotherapy, we focus on the fact that for smoking, for instance, that we see ourselves as a non-smoker. We are a non-smoker, and we think of ourselves as a non-smoker. And so we move that direction. And then some other really big transformations that I've seen is there was a lady who had severe irritable bowel syndrome. Was just every time she ate, was just her stomach would just be in such fits for her, and really caused her a lot of problem and anxiety, because she felt like she really couldn't go places, you know, and go out to eat and things like that. And we were able to, in just a few short sessions, move her to a place where it's just a non-issue for her anymore. It just stopped. And it's just because that really what was causing it was underlying stress. And by addressing that stress, we were able to then move away from those symptoms. So we got it resolved very quickly. I've had patients come into my office that were there because they had chronic pain. Maybe it was chronic back pain. And I always will start by saying, can you tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is your pain right now? Maybe the answer is 7 or 8. And we actually do a session. And at the end of the session, I said, okay, well, what is your pain level now? Because my thought was, okay, depending on what her pain level is, then I will give her some other exercises to do. And she's like, well, it's a 0. I don't have any pain right now.
Wow.
So yeah, it worked really well. And so one time somebody said, well, do you just do it one time? Do you just, like, for pain, do you do it one time? And I said, well, hypnotherapy is kind of like bathing. It works really well, but you have to do it more than one time sometimes. So with that, though, but with clients, when I'm working with them, I record their sessions for them and I provide those to them. And I recommend very strongly that they listen to that session twice a day in between our clinical sessions when they get their next recording. And that really helps to reinforce, because our subconscious is a lot like about a smart 10-year-old. It can focus, and it's smart, and it can do things, but it needs repetition.
Right.
And it needs to be focused on one particular issue at a time. Sometimes people come in and say, okay, I want to quit smoking and I need to lose 100 pounds and my stomach stays upset all the time. And, I'm terrified to speak in public. Can you help me? And I'm like, well, but we can't do them all at one time. Right. We have to pick. So that's kind of how it works. The mind can really only focus on one issue at a time.
So the whole aspect of multitasking, it doesn't exist,
no.
Right?
No, although we women love to think we can multitask. We just switch around very fast, but we don't really multitask.
Okay, just so everyone knows, multitasking.
Yeah,
can't do it.
There you go.
Can't do it. You heard it from Sheila. So great. That's awesome, because we always, as I said, talking about stress. Stress is that number one thing in life that just can make or cause havoc in your life.
It sure does.
And you said it perfectly. Stomach issues. I mean, I had stomach issues and I was stressed and I had a stomach ulcer, so it was just awful. And I mean, granted, I didn't know therapy back then, but I had to start meditating, and that worked. But at least you kind of given us a bit more information on how hypnotherapy can help you, emotionally and getting rid of stress, because it's just awful, and we do need to kind of and I think we do need to get into the stage of where we realize something's not right. But
yeah,
it's very difficult to know when that thing's not right until something drastic happens,
That is true. It's
true. Sad that we have to get to that phase where, something drastic has to happen in order for you to understand, well, my body is not working 100% or.
Right. Yeah. And that's a lot of what I think you bring to the table, Michelle, because, we all do go at such a fast pace, and we run around and we take care of everybody in our lives.
Yes.
Except maybe ourselves.
Yeah.
And we don't take much time for ourselves. So that's why I think you offer so much to people to help them plan trips or plan events that they want to go to or be a part of, where they actually are moving a little bit and they're focused on their wellness. And of course, everybody likes to be pampered, go have your nails done, go have your feet done, but that's not wellness. That is a form of self-care, but real wellness is about kind of getting out where you're in a place in the world that you let the worries of today go and you focus on taking some time for yourself and just some long, 3 or 4 days of just relaxation. Even if you're doing something active that you enjoy, it's relaxing because it's not a day at the office where we're with the daily grind.
Totally. And I support it 100%, even though I'm in
Absolutely.
Of trying to sell that, but I support it 100%.
Yes.
Getting away and taking that time, and just taking that time for yourself. But then, as I said, we've got to make that first step, and you know, that first step is always difficult, but once we've made that first step, and, you know, if we come to you, or if we go to any other practitioner, if at least we've made that step, and then, you know, we can put everyone else, you know, we can, I'll say we'll have our practitioners that are going to help us on
Absolutely.
the wellness journey. So it's great.
Yes.
Well, so how can people contact you, Sheila, if they are interested in doing some hypnotherapy with you?
Okay. They can just simply visit my website, which is harrishypnotherapy.com. I also have a Facebook page, which is Harris Hypnotherapy. There's also one of the things that I've just started is because so many people, Duluth is not a convenient location for them, or they just don't want to fight the Atlanta traffic or whatever it might be. Over time, I will probably have different groups that I do around specific issues. This first one that I've done is I've actually created a Facebook support group called Become a Non-Smoker Naturally. And as part of that, what I'm going to be, that's just a support group that anyone that is a smoker or a family member of a smoker or somebody who recently quit that just wants the support of people that understand, it's a group for them. But as well, I'm also going to be offering an online program for becoming a non-smoker, where even if the person is in, it doesn't matter, they don't have to drive to Duluth, whether they're in California or South Atlanta, wherever it might be, they are able to do that through the online program.
Oh, great.
So I'm trying to just make it available to everybody, and over time I may as well release some different programs, maybe for stress or different type things, maybe for stomach issues. We'll just see as it goes, but I really want to first focus on becoming a non-smoker, because that is such an issue with our health.
Yes.
That affects so many things. It affects our health. It affects our money, because our insurance many times is at a different rate if we're a smoker. It's just a lot of things that it really can affect.
That's awesome. I like the fact that you're, you know, going to start off with smoking, because again, it's going to affect you physically, emotionally, socially, you know, and that's very important. And if you do another series, that'd be awesome. So
right.
I look forward to, you know, seeing those. And then you said you're on Facebook. Are you on Instagram or Twitter?
Probably, but I never get in there. So I am so sorry. I don't know even how to tell you how, but yes, I am somehow. But most all the traffic I get is through Facebook or through my website. And of course, on the website, our office phone number as well as my cell phone number are on there. My clients always have access to me anytime they need to reach out.
Great. Well, Sheila, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me this evening, just for people to understand how hypnotherapy can help people emotionally and socially in their wellness. And, you know, if you want to reach out to Sheila, she's told you all the details. Also, we have a wellness retreat if anyone is interested in going to Canyon Ranch in September. You know, you can see a hypnotherapist, that they have hypnotherapists up there as well. But, you know, if you were looking to go on a self-care break and you want to make that step, maybe you can go and see Sheila first, and then you can come to me afterwards. It's entirely up to you, but feel free to check out our website. It's on our Facebook page. We are on Instagram. We are on Twitter. If you put Well Adventures, you will find us. But thank you so much, Sheila. And everyone, next week we have another person that I'll be interviewing, and that'll be Laura. But Sheila, thank you so much. And
thank you so much, Michelle. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it was great. Thank you so much. And everyone, if you have any questions, do post them on the comment. If not, then reach out to Sheila personally. But Sheila, have a great evening, and thank you so much.
Thanks. You as well. Bye-bye.
Bye.